Just
brother mambo pichukue vasectomy nini?
itaisha tu, things to talk about itaishia hapo. It's possible that
me by the me, whenever I go to funerals, I don't usually look at the body. I think I've saved all of that for people who are like close to me, like kind of mazeo memory yo ni haunt kidogo.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be haunted or traumatized, for lack of a better word, by someone I wasn't close to. What I think is, I wish people did that. If they thought that you have a limited amount of time, and if I get to 70, any other year is a bonus for me.
Right, yeah. Call your auntie, call your uncle, call your grandma. Especially
those you're close to. What is your take on this? Well, where are you lying in this conversation?
Bro, me, man.
Just you want more kids?
Nah, man. Money is a Miami.
All the money in the world.
Money is a major issue. Do you know that? Yeah. And I feel like this is a two people conversation.
Yeah.
Na ndio hata nilikuwa jaribu throw back
just
to
two. Assume these guys are not here.
Not even two people conversation. Like me and the wifey kind of conversation. No. Who agree?
Gentlemen, they are kicking me out of the bedroom. You're being constrained in your imagination of how you can take care of a family.
So let me tell you our story. I know this might be oversharing. But then
overshare away. Very good podcast material. Hello, time lapsers. Welcome again to episode 3 of the time lapse.
What?
And today I'm in conversation with my director with the most.
Yeah.
Mr. Crocs, or if you like, John Agadi Ochuro.
Yeah. Government name up, we've just
yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, Mr. John, man, it's been a minute since you're on this seat.
Thank you so much.
How have you been?
I've been good. It's all been a minute since I probably last saw you.
Yeah.
And so I've been okay. Everything has been good, and I'm excited for time lapse.
Okay.
And the feedback that I'm seeing, just the conversation that people are talking about us having conversation. Amazing,
huh?
Yeah.
Good.
How about you?
I've been up and down. You know how life goes.
Yeah.
It's been there's been a bit of this, bit of that. And anyways, I'm excited to have this happening because I've also been gathering all the feedback that has been out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's enough fuel to just propel you forward.
Yeah, consistency.
Yes, sir. Anyways, what's been popping in your world?
Yeah. Okay. Right. So can I preface?
Yes, please. So that in case you lose some of it, I can tell you. You said this.
we wanted to do the weekly aside thing where in our conversation we would capture the 3 top things that have been on our mind: news, personal thing, anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And so for me, the 3 things that I want to talk about is, number 1 is about the Pope. The Pope's demise, and a movie I just watched literally 2 days ago called The Conclave. So it's super top of mind, and I was so excited about that movie. It was such a good one, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't know if I can talk about a movie and give it kind of the same emotion that I had when I watched.
Yeah, sure.
So that's the first one. The second thing is
what's the name of the movie?
Conclave.
Okay.
Conclave, fire movie about the Pope. We can just dive into that again.
No. Say the other 2.
All right. So the second thing is I wanted to react to a thing I saw online where this Vietnam gas director boss did a thing. He posted a post on LinkedIn.
Yes, interesting.
Kind of making a stab at the government. I think it's a delegation that came over to meet Musalia Mudavadi, the prime CS.
Yes.
And then he was so frustrated, just talk, no execution.
Yes.
And then so he made this post
on LinkedIn,
viral.
Okay, awesome.
I even went nikachangia, man. you know when you're in LinkedIn, you have to speak LinkedIn. So this is very apt. And timely. I had
Munanisinyanga kwa hiyo app yenu.
LinkedIn lazima come through na very kind of dignified English.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the second thing.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is a personal one that I just have to wait for. Wait for it until I get to it. It's kind of a personal thought nimekuwa nayo. And I don't know what you'll think about it.
Yeah. You don't know. You can never guess with me.
so I guess tukifika kwa hiyo the personal thing, I'll let you know, guys. But let's go back to the first one. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this week, literally 2 days ago, I watched Conclave, the movie. A fantastic movie about this thing called the conclave. So now let's go back. The Pope just passed on.
Yes.
And then he was buried. The funeral, I think,
On Saturday.
Yes. Big funeral, had like all the world leaders will attend.
Our very own Wetangula was in attendance.
Oh, very own president was in attendance.
Oh yeah, and
it was and I'm not hating Mr. Wetangula, but I'm aware he's Catholic though, right?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but it was so interesting to see African leaders go there. It was so unnecessary, like when you can see someone hapa jiuliza, hey bwana, Mr. President, what are you?
Mr. Wetangula ni Mluya bwana, anapenda matanga. Sisi hatukosi.
Okay, sawa. Yes, Mr. Yeah, right. Actually, moving on swiftly.
Yes. Sorry.
But that was funny. You mean Bamba. So the movie is about the conclave. So the thing that happens after
how they choose the Pope.
How they choose the Pope.
All right.
So they have a process called the conclave. So literally, conclave is a Latin word I just found out.
Okay.
Which in a Manish it's supposed to mean closed room, locked room, kind of thing. So the conclave is a locked room.
All right.
So how they do it, and it was so fascinating how well they try to capture in the movie, is all these cardinals, like huge cardinals, or Cardinal of Kenya, Cardinal of, all these countries in Zikona cardinals.
Yeah.
So there are cardinals who can elect. So actually I also learned that just because you're a cardinal doesn't mean you can elect.
Yeah, okay.
But there are cardinals who have kind of like a voting right.
Voting right?
Suppose,
yeah.
So they get into a room, and then they're supposed to vote until they get the next Pope.
Okay.
The reason why this movie was so fascinating to me especially, the way the framers of this movie made it look, it was very political and kind of very Machiavellian. Kuna
chess moves, huh?
Chess moves ziko hapo, ma piece. This guy wants to be the Pope.
Yeah.
This one also wants to be the Pope. They come together into the voting thing. You can feel the shifting dynamic until the end. Actually, the person who wanted to be the Pope ends up not being the Pope. Kuna a lot of kind of plot twists.
Yes, okay.
Happen in the movie.
All right.
Now, I don't know if I'm boring you when you stop.
No.
But then I get pretty excited Nadi about especially
production movies. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Now, one of the things that nilikuwa so fascinated about is just the whole Catholic Church, and I wanted to make a commentary on it.
Interesting. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, not in a weird way. Actually, in the sense that I think the Catholic Church is one of the oldest institutions.
All right.
Zenye zishawahi exist.
Yeah.
And I mean older than even most companies.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I was so fascinated at that concept. Yeah, this institution is doing a papacy thing. So they're electing a new Pope. 267th, I found out. This new Pope will be the 267th Pope.
Yeah.
And so they're keeping that tradition alive. But then it's such an old institution. Fun fact, Catholicism is growing in Africa and South America. And then it's dying in Europe. And so I really wanted to make a commentary on that. It was so fascinating kuona vitu ka hizo. A lot of traditions will happen. I don't know kama ulipata opportunity to watch.
The movie?
No, the burial.
Nah, man. I'm not loyal like that. So the thing is, I, of course, hata kama sikuwatch, it definitely, the news, you cannot miss to see the news that is surrounding the whole thing. It was all over the place. It was all over the place, and there is just no way you'd miss to see it. So that said, personally, I am not I was not so emotionally invested in it. It's just that it's one of those popping things that you cannot miss to see. But one thing that I kind of read or I know about this current Pope is how he was a bit kind of different, in his dealing and how he's conducted his business as a Pope. He's a bit revolutionary in a way,
And that's the thing. That's another thing that came out in the movie, the Conclave movie. So it's like every Pope, every leader, every earthly leader of the Catholic Church has kind of like a political leaning, sort of. Either utakuwa liberal, ama you'll be very, what's the opposite of not being progressive? You'll
conservative.
Conservative.
Yes.
Because now in the movie there's like this guy who wants to be the Pope, who is like against like all this liberal views is na happen against, in fact hata Islam. Anaongea kuhusu in the movie, there's like a few bombs that are happening. It's like, why do we allow those things to happen? They would never allow this to happen. And so the cardinals are like, man, we need to choose a pope who's also kind of ideology. Itatusaidia to move to the next generation. Me, for it was quite fascinating, but I don't know how I wanted to talk about, but nilitamani I could have talked also about how there's a lot of corruption, because now those are the stories that I found
that go with
it.
By all means, brother, by all means.
It's captured in the movie.
Kwanza,
spoiler alert. Kuna this fascinating spoiler alert, man. Everybody, I'm so sorry if I'm going to talk about a movie, I'm going to spoil it. This
if you
skip, kama wewe sio kuspoiliwa, just skip. Can I spoil it for you?
Yeah, whatever, man.
You hata maybe utawatch.
Okay.
But then this African pope, who is supposed to be the new pope, it's so interesting because the first sequence here voting, he's leading. He's called Adeyemi. He's from like Nigeria.
Yeah.
So they end up in the movie just like a nun and a pop out.
Yeah.
From nowhere. Now it happens that this nun and this Adeyemi 20 years ago had a thing.
Allah.
And there's a child. Now, imagine the chess moves of these guys imagining that Adeyemi might be in a contest. And then they sent for this nun from Nigeria, sent her to Rome, put her somewhere in the thing, made it possible that they would bump into each other and it will form a scandal.
Imtrov
kabisa.
Nice.
So there's a lot of mazee Machiavellianism, like mazee sword ziko tu pale. Could be interesting. You should probably watch it.
I definitely will. So anyway, the good Lord rest his soul in peace.
Yeah.
Any person who can be able to wear that such a huge crown, man, I usually give them all the flowers I can, man, because it's not easy. It's not easy to be on that seat that the Pope sits on. There's a lot of things, and for you to be there and maintain a steady head over your shoulders, man, props to him. And good luck to the next nigga, man.
Good luck to the next pope.
Yeah.
Kuna rumors online. Man, I just dived so deep into this world. The rumors that the next pope could be African. Who knows?
Yeah, but I hear
But then it's a voting process, so let's see.
Let's see how it goes down, man.
But what do you think in Ezekwa if the next pope is African?
Obama was black, man.
Yeah.
Look where we are.
You don't need nothing to
it. It's I don't know, man. It's just a face to a huge juggernaut, and I don't think it matters much.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Man, it's time for black people. I know that anyway.
I understand that mindset,
yeah.
But it has to. It's not supposed to come from the top. It's supposed to come from the grassroots. I know the inspiration at the top is important, so that a little boy in some village in Sirisia can see himself and see that I can also one day become a pope or something.
Yeah.
It's nice and it's good for the overall picture. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think the whole Obama thing just left me feeling a little bit sour, man.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But that's a conversation for another day.
I know. You only rabbit for learning.
Yes.
Okay. So the next thing.
Yes.
Man, the next thing. So this one.
Yeah.
This one is post by this Vietnam gas president.
Yes.
I mean, maybe I can just read maybe like the first paragraph. Because I had to have it. Hakuna context. There's no way I could have given you context if I wouldn't have like read to you how he was injecting. And so
but you can just tell us how he was injecting. You don't have to read it out to us.
No, you just sit through it, man.
Okay, John, read your passage. Niko miss kusoma composition mbele ya class sana baba. Sawa, soma composition yako.
Nataka uone venye ana inject and this is where especially this one maybe hapo ndo ilinibamba.
Okay, sure. Read your passage. Mazee
unataka ni summarize and not
go ahead.
So he says so the topic is why Africa waits while Asia builds. A hard look at Kenya. Mazee ni like an opening statement.
An opening salvo.
He said, I met with the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and President William Ruto in Nairobi, and they spoke with energy about Kenya's future, injecting. investment, infrastructure, public housing. But behind the polished language was a painful truth. There's no serious execution culture.
Okay.
Opening paragraph. This is exactly what he goes on to talk about in the whole thing. There's no serious execution. So he talks about in the thing how all our ministers just want to have talks, kuna meetings, also want to show up for photo ops.
There's a meeting after meeting, and a meeting for the meeting.
And a meeting, and a meeting to debrief the meeting with the investors.
We are so full of shit, man, but go on.
Yeah, but there's no execution culture. And actually, e-story execution culture was a thing that everyone, a lot of people want to react to in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Was like, yeah, we think you're right.
Yeah.
So later on, Kubele anasema, man, the biggest indicator is electricity. Vietnam has 100 million people with over 70 gigawatts of power. Kenya, 50 million people, 4 gigawatts of power.
Yeah.
He's like, if you guys are so serious, why don't you just execute on these things? So when I read it, a lot of kind of hizo emotions really come to me. How our ministers wanna inject too. How inject. Like wanna do 2 meetings, wanna kunywa chai, wanna get fat. But then there's no execution culture.
Ouch.
No, really. So I thought about it. Nikajiuliza, how come? What is the difference between Asians, maybe na African leaders? Because it seems to me that Asian leaders are all about execution. They're all about actually making it work. But our African leaders, not so, man. Yeah. Our African leaders are... There's no execution, it's story to after story. Politics after politics.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, that was a thing. I probably have so much more to say about it. But yeah.
It's really interesting. Funny thing, I just didn't remember it, but this thing has ever popped on my timeline. And it actually made me want to know a little bit more about Vietnam, you know?
Okay.
Where is it even on the map, you know, like who's its neighbors, what's the population, you know? And then now when I actually went and checked back the post, I was like, yo, what? And the level of industrialization that they have in there, I was just like so amazed. And now
what did you find out? I'm so curious. Jumis do the deal.
No, so like even the reason why we have this here, so that I can always just like check out the global positioning of everyone, you know. Like
where is Vietnam?
Vietnam is somewhere here. No, here. It's an Asian country somewhere here. It's a very long country. If you look up Caribbean, China, Mongolia, you've seen it, huh?
South China Sea, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand.
Yes. So it just really kind of it intrigued me that such a tiny country can have all that much, and they just at some point decided to, like, you know, get serious with business, you know, a lot more serious. And the things you're mentioning, like what was it, 100 million people, and how many
70 gigawatts of power,
gigawatts of power vis-a-vis us who are 50 million and 4 gigawatts of power, right? Such stats are really embarrassing, man. Yeah, you hear them, and at the level of industrialization, the amount of production that happens over there, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And man, what do? We build. I remember something from that thing. He says he throws shade on our expressway. That we have a fancy expressway. That does not really, you know. What was the dig? There was a dig about the expressway.
So okay, let me start with the first dig.
All right.
So the first dig was Kenya energy supply is unstable. Yet the government built a fancy expressway from Nairobi to Mombasa without an export industry to support it.
That was the dig, and that dig, that I felt it in the pits of my stomach.
The next dig, the funny dig, I know we can talk about that, but the funny dig was tourism is another missed opportunity.
Yeah.
There's nothing visitors to experience or spend beyond Masai Market. That's essentially a souvenir stand.
Yeah. Mazali to murder na hiyo statement bana.
Yeah.
And I don't know, was there any response from
Kenyans?
Yes. No, forget about Kenyans. Of course, Kenyans, unajua tunakati inject mode throughout.
I mean, inject.
Kenyans, we are always inject mode. I'm talking about, was there like an official statement from our government in response to that?
I'm not very sure. I'm not really sure because it'll go on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll respond in other platforms, maybe on X or Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. a lot of people, I saw a lot of actually like serious people on a lot of posts getting mad at him. Kind of
what's there to get mad over that? Those are bots.
No, like real.
Wale wasa boiler room wale
no, they're actually like not even Africans, maybe some executives somewhere. Unajua how you can see someone's kind of deep in you feel like, hey, I'm saying executive.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you should not.
But unajua kila mtu ni executive uko LinkedIn.
Right, yeah. I mean, your boss hapo, check me out, follow me. You know, I'd be spewing some very professional things. Anyway. Well, notice that uko LinkedIn, by the way.
I actually, if one of my phones has my profile still intact, my new phone does not have it. So I kind of rarely check it. So occasionally, usually go. I have to use my old phone for me to check LinkedIn. That's how I even access that post. Just like, man. Anyway, but it's fine. It's fine. We should heed these kinds of positive critique. You know, this is it is spoken in with good heart.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think ana ubaya wote akisema your statement. Unaona, it is just meant like, man, you guys are sleeping on potential. There's a lot you could do. You have misplaced priorities. You could do this and you're doing this. I don't know. That's just my take from that entire thing. I don't think he stands to profit or lose anything by making it.
It bring up your conversation, Asian Tigers.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that conversation. Singapore, it'll get independence same time like Kenya.
Yes. Yeah. And look where they are, look where we are.
Right. Yeah. Anyway,
let's I'm getting triggered.
So those my in my week, hizo ni two things zilinibamba sana, and I wanted to share with you guys, with you.
You still have one more to go.
Yeah, it's
mbona unahepa na hiyo?
Let's hold it. Let me hear something from your end, and then I feel like I need to save it for last, because I don't know how to react to it.
Yeah.
And staki sana just
brother, mambo upichukue vasectomy nini?
Itaisha tu, things to talk about itaishia hapo. It's possible that
no, so nimecheka sana. Anyway, top of my, for someone who has a stupid handwriting, man, I actually write a lot. So I lost my uncle. It's weird that the last time we were here, we were discussing your uncle, who you just buried.
Yeah.
I also today is a Monday. Today's a Tuesday.
Right. Yeah.
On Saturday, while people were burying the Pope, I was burying my uncle.
Oh man, sorry about that.
So this is like the firstborn in my mom's family. Yeah. My mom is the secondborn, is the firstborn.
Yeah.
This gentleman, the father died. My grandfather, Mr. Joel Mukoma Lisunu.
Okay.
Yeah, died.
Okay.
I am named after my grandfather from my maternal side.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So
right?
Yeah. So my uncle, my grandfather died pretty early. So this gentleman somehow managed to get a good education, and then if you have education, you will get work.
Yeah.
He got good work, very good education.
Yeah.
He went to Aquinas, went to, I think, UN, and just like had a good job. Joined Twiga, the factory. Then eventually, somewhere in 1985, he entered into the football politics, and eventually got himself at the SecGen of Kenya Football Federation in 1985.
Right. Yeah.
And there's been ups and downs in that field, but he ended up being one of the longest reigning Secretary General, and that was like a big deal, because that's when football was football.
What's the job description?
Yeah. Man, nika nini au ndio kama CEO wa nini bana wa the federation, but they call the shots, they direct policy, they do everything that like a CEO does in like a normal company. So it was a big deal. If there is any funding coming in, yenda na direct nenda wapi. So my uncle was one of those guys, really high flying.
Okay.
He was if I remember well, he was the first person in my blood family to ever own a car.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, and not yet early 2080s, bro. And then 90s, I think I remember it was a Peugeot, a Peugeot.
Yeah,
Peugeot 504.
Yeah.
Man, I think it was white, or grey, silver grey, I don't remember very well. But it was such a flex. I would just even stomp on some kids in primary and tell them, my uncle has a car.
Okay.
It was such a big deal for you to know someone who has a car, man.
Yeah.
And we looked with the entire family, even if you weren't like a direct beneficiary, it was a huge flex. Knowing him, just being inspired by him, knowing there is someone who has ascended to such a level of growth in their life.
Right.
And then he decided to kind of retire and his life cooled off, and he decided to tie into a small village life. Like back in Mumias, that's where he set up up his home. And
so this is after work years.
After work years, when in his super sunset years, man, I think he moved to Mumias like in around 2015. It was like it was almost 69, maybe thereabout. Like late in his life completely. And that in itself was actually a good thing, because I never really got a very nice personal touch with him. Being a high flyer as he was, and me being like a nephew Kombali kidogo in terms of like access to him. So this allowed me to actually now spend a little bit more time with him. And I think his wife, my aunt, passed like some 4 years ago. So now he was mostly by himself at this place. And
passed after he moved.
He moved to Mumias, yes.
Then the wife passed.
And then the wife passed. Walishishi kidogo hapo, by the way. And then that was like 2015. The wife passed like in 2021.
Okay.
So now that let him kuwa peke yake kwa boma kidogo, because most of his kids are grown nini. So I would pass by around, tunapiga ma story and show my stories of back in the day, how he used to do business, what he used to do. Close? Yes, we were very, very close with that dude. And I remember the first time he really got a complication towards his health. I rushed there, nikampeleka Hosi Life Care. There was a procedure that was done. That was last year somewhere, I think. He was very good with that. That I had forgotten about. It was like, it was like September last year. I was like, what? I don't even remember very well. But you're good with that. It's like, it was this day. Right, I literally had to go to my conversations. Na my mom nipate kama ni hivyo. And that it was like right on it, by the way. But anyway, all that said, I think after we buried him, I was just like really introspective. You know how how these family gatherings, besides, aside from like meeting family, talking to like meeting a bunch of cousins who I don't even happen to remember their names. It has been too long. Time has done the thing. My biggest takeaway was something I think you and I have ever talked aside in our conversations. The whole thing of how I would like to begin with the end in mind. Like,
right. You start with the end and work backwards.
Start with the end and work backwards. And I just like, I think that moment highly affirmed my belief in that, like that moment being there.
What is the trigger at this emotion?
No. So I've been around death. Of losing someone who I kind of have had a rather very close relationship with. It's not even just like back in the day. Back in the day, it was just mostly aspirational. Like, I look up to this guy. This guy is really doing well, and I want to do as well. I want to do as well as this gentleman. But now, in his death, and being me by the me, whenever I go to funerals, I don't usually look at the body. I think I've saved all of that for people who are like close to me, like kind of mazeo memory ni haunt kidogo. So I don't want to be haunted or traumatized, for lack of a better word, by someone I wasn't close to. I want to hold dear the memory of someone I kind of have had an experience. So just looking at him lying in that casket, it was one of those things that pushes you to realize how profound and how short this life is. Exactly. And that's why I was telling you, it's one of those moments that kind of reaffirmed that belief that I like to start with the end in mind. And I once told you that I think if I have generously awarded myself 70 years of existence. Right. Yeah, I'm saying generously because you never really know. I am aspiring to get that. Yeah. But you see now, being a 36-year-old dude that lives with 34.
Niko past half
of the mark. So that means I have like 34 more birthdays to go.
If the good Lord is generous.
If the good Lord is super, please be generous. So this type of conversation, I came to realize most people are hugely triggered by it. They're not willing to have that kind of conversation that we're going to die, you're going to die at a certain point, it just triggers a lot of people. And what I think is, I wish people did that. If they thought that you have a limited amount of time, and if I get to 70, any other year is a bonus for me.
Right,
No. But the articulation that I'm just going to not go beyond 70 is what allows me to focus. You know, like know that I have a limited amount of time. And in so doing, it allows me to not let any important things in my life suffer at the expense of trivialities.
Right, yeah.
You know, and it's one of my biggest takeaways, or something that I thought that I should talk about from that whole the loss of my uncle.
And I know, you know, when I think last week, now the other time when we were actually to my uncle's passing,
yes,
I was telling you how it feels like that generation is passing the baton.
Yeah.
And so your generation in a fade away too, and now it's like this is us. We are the dads.
Now it's our turn now, huh?
It's our turn now, and then at some point we'll pass on the baton. And it's interesting, most people who are to fikiria about death and how we'll die and how we want to die, therefore how we want to live.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a very profound and strong emotion, man. Got me very also really thinking about it. Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Now moving away from that, hiyo tumalizia hapo.
Yeah, but there's a lot to talk about hapo.
Yeah, I know. We can make a whole topic out of it some other day. Yeah. But for now, it was just like one of the things that really popped in my.
But you're good?
Yeah. I think so. I want to believe I'm good.
Yeah.
My purpose, my cousin, I think to perpetuate the relationship, I just now kind of have to like try and strengthen the relationship between me and my cousins from his family, who I think through his sickness we got to like connect. But now in his death, I think it will be like the honorable thing to do to enhance the relationship a little bit more.
Right. So how you'll honor his life, me being closer to
his people, sons, yes, and daughters, and just maybe like be in their life a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yes. I know with cousins, man, even sometimes with siblings it's a bit harder, but now even with cousins you can imagine. But since I had the pleasure of connecting with him a little bit more towards the end of his life, you remember, actually, I got the news when we were with you.
Yes. We were together when...
We were coming from...
Now I'm getting emotional. Tulikuwa pamoja, I think, I don't know, in Nairobi, I think, when you're taking the call.
Yes.
And then you went quiet for a while.
Yes.
And then remember, you take another call maybe from your mom.
Yes.
And now I heard you talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
it took me out for a while, man. Because there was an actual lengthy conversation that was actually pending between me and my uncle.
Yeah,
we were like, kuna kitu kwa yes, it wasn't business.
Yeah,
you know how sometimes I come to see you and I tell you like I had like XYZ to talk to you about.
Right,
so I do that with almost anyone I'm intimate with. Like when I meet them, I'm like, yes, I want to talk. I won't have them written down like I have some of my notes here, but mi kwa kichwa yangu najua I have this XYZ I need to talk to this gentleman over. And that was a loss for me, because I would have really loved to hear what he has to speak, to talk about what I want to talk to him about.
Well, it's how we conclude
that cannot be concluded, man. Yeah. That is left.
Yeah.
So that just reminds you, the other day you were saying about intentionality, like just being intentional with people. Bana pigia hata mtu simu bana. Pigia mtu simu. You just like check on your people as regularly as you can, because we have this weird thing where we think that we have time, but man, probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Call your mom, call your auntie, call your uncle, call your grandma,
especially those you're close to. Yeah. Keep them closer.
Right. Ooh,
yeah. So the other thing that was on my list, man, my list is full of gloomy things, man. Why are you laughing? You sadistic bastard.
Excited, meaning Conclave at the Pope.
Yes, but that was gloomy too. The Pope died, man. He's fucking...
See, me, okay, get it. Quite gloomy. However, nilikuwa ongea kuhusu the movie.
But at least, you're not close to the Pope, and it's mostly commentary.
It's mostly commentary.
Yes. I hear you. So my other thing is the BBC documentary covering the 25th of June last year, and the demonstrations led by the Gen Zs.
Documentaries,
I was saying I'm too busy. Even the Conclave I've been putting on my watch list for a while. I was unable to watch it. It's all everyone has been talking about since the Pope died. I don't mind. I'll watch it still. Even I probably might talk about it in our next. I'll be like, my takeaway is. I might talk about it later, but yeah. See that nini is really documentary is really like it triggers, it pulls on your heartstrings. Hey man, and I like the narrative. It wasn't too long. And I just yesterday I think someone made me wait, and I just like put it on the TV in the office. And I was like looking at it. I was half watching, but at some point I had to like recline my chair and actually just pay attention and watch. And actually had to stop whatever I was doing. And by the time it was done, I was like, I was super pensive. And even when watching movies, I like a director or the storytelling. I like the storytelling to take an angle whereby it humanizes literally everyone. I'm the star player or the main character. So now in this specific documentary, our star players, our heroes, our fallen heroes. There's this gentleman who was at your end, something Echieni. Echieni. The one who was singing a song, the gentleman. That part, I felt a pit in my stomach because now
nilikuwa na watch na wife akaanza kulia.
Like makes you feel so bad. Like that gentleman could have been literally anyone. It could have been you, it could have been me. And it just took me out completely. I paused it for a minute just to digest that scene before I could go on. And it just made me feel like, man, why are people like that? Why are we able to commit such atrocities on fellow human beings? Just like shoot us like you're shooting at cadavers, or like it's a game, you're playing Call of Duty or something.
One of the things that tulikuwa tunaongea about your documentary ya BBC. And I just noticed imefika 3 million views.
Nice.
It's like 48 hours later.
That's really good.
It's really huge. Means Kenyans are watching, people are talking.
The world is watching.
The world is watching.
And it's like the trending topic even still today.
Now Kenyans, man, it's back on the discussion table.
Yes.
They tried to intimidate us. I know I'm laughing, but serious. They tried to really like gag us.
Yes.
But it's also obvious that Wasawaja heal.
No. Guys have not healed from that.
Right, yeah. So, man, I forget what I wanted to say. Me just get so also caught up in that and that emotional scene. I want to comment kuhusu this guy, this apparent KDF soldier mwenye could have taken those lives. So me, I know for a fact, and I want to discuss that these people don't actually shoot without instruction.
Yes.
And so the discussion was, if 100% no soldier can, or cop, especially if it's a soldier.
Yes, especially if it's a soldier.
They cannot pull the trigger bila instruction.
Yes.
So that means someone instructed him. It has to be.
Yes.
Yeah, because, man, we know it's called the discipline force for a reason.
Yes.
And so me, that got me really just thinking, man, kwani our generals, our leaders who are calling these shots, what were they thinking? What did they want to prove a point? And so, maybe, man, I was so triggered by your documentary.
And
I'm so happy, first of all, ilikuwa produced. I remember nikuwa so pensive, nikifikiria na wase wakikuwa abducted. Imagine where my head is going. Ndio ujue tuja heal.
Yes.
Like I'm watching that documentary and I'm nasema, what if wase washikwe? And then I go online, and that is the conversation that's happening. What KTN would have never done this. Now it's because the Citizen would never done this.
That journalist, what is his name? He's actually an instant hero.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Demba. I hopped on Twitter and on X, and I could see, man, that yes, he's easily the and man, it's not coming for free, man. He put his life out there bigly. Yes. And in fact, there was a time they were arresting him, and there's now very many clips of him just his heroics popping on the surface, and it's amazing to watch, man. It's amazing to watch. It's profound and it's scary, and to imagine that someone can be that brave is crazy.
What's your view politically though? Because nimesikia leo manze politicians wamejaa wanasema it's malicious nini.
You know, there's a lot we need to do, man, as a society. And I actually worry that we are not angry enough as a general population. As a society.
Not angry enough
ama
tumekuwa too pacified na pain.
No, we are not angry enough. we should be a lot more angrier than we are. We shouldn't be allowing the things that are currently happening in our communities. They are just. I think the only reason that they keep doing what the political class, the reason why they keep doing what they're doing is because
the cinema pawns.
Not even we are not angry. We are not holding them as accountable as we need to be holding them accountable. That's just why. That's my takeaway to the whole thing.
I think so. I think so too. Without being too political, I may think so, man. I think something needs to happen. We need to see a different Kenya. Democracy needs to be upheld. It does need to be accountable. And man, it starts with you and me. So
all right. So before I do my thing, since you withheld your last, I'm gonna just throw it back at you so that we get this thing out of the way.
Get emotional up,
maybe this one will try cheer us up because man, hey, you guy, the energy levels are
the documentary ilikuwa inaitwaje? Blood something. I wrote it somewhere. Blood Parliament. BBC's Blood Parliament. Hiyo man imeteka wa mood uko chini to the pits. As it should for anyone mwenye atawatch the documentary.
If you've not watched that documentary, go watch it. Maybe it might get you angry enough to actually just like probably hold. You don't have to go on holding the President, Mr. William Ruto account. We can start with your local member of county assembly. Just hold him accountable. If you hold him accountable, he'll hold your governor accountable. If you hold the governor accountable, now we are talking. Now things are creasing nicely.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So
this thing you're hiding in your pocket.
I mean, you see,
release it. I want to hear it. Toa hiyo kitu. My guess was that unaambiwa upate vasectomy.
Nah, it's not vasectomy.
But serious like that? Am I close enough?
Yeah. Go na Kenya or something.
Okay, hit me.
What do you call that thing? That globe thing in your So I wanted to talk about, so it's a personal thing. I need to preface this story before you talk about it, so that it's going to it's coming out of the blue. So in our weekly aside, if we can get a personal thing that we can talk about, it's good. Kama tu news in sawa, but if we can get a personal idea to debate, to highlight, is good. So my personal thing, and this is kind of really, really personal. So we've been having this conversation with wifey na pia with my folks. Alafu imekuwa like a thing with some of the people who are close to me, like my church crew na vitu hizo. So there's a conversation that will come up. My pops or grandparents or my kids, they want more kids.
Way
right. So this is a story. The old man is like, you guys, man, mbona mko na watu wawili tu bana, you people should do more.
You have 2 boys. How old is your last one? Your current your place holding last born?
Right. Will be 2 in on 25th. 2 of May.
2 is the magic number.
Right.
Around 2 years.
Let me finish my thing.
Finish your thing, brother. Finish your thing.
Unajua la kusoma, because I think I kind of know some of the ideas zenye uko nazo around this concept, but then I'm not really again.
Okay.
One of the things nimekuwa very impressed na the parents ama the grandparents na their generation is especially how walikuwa na 2-3 children. When I look across the board, most parents in average, our parents wako 60s 50s nini across the board. Man wako na watoto 3 4 5 maximum. They're not doing 10 kama parents wa kitambo,
like walikuwa boomers ama
like wale now official now boomers, or their parents now. I feel like it's such a disconnect between venye wale grow up na how they because all of them, when you talk to them, it's a very, very strange thing. Maybe niko kwa your age, but all of them is like, you guys should get more kids, you people, you youngins, you millennials shouldn't do.
So what is your take on this? Where are you lying in this conversation?
Bro, me, man,
you want more kids?
Nah, man. Money is a Miami.
All the money in the world.
Money is a major issue. Do you know that? MIA.
Yeah, sure. But all the success in the world, man. Like, supposing things go the way you anticipate or wish them to go, how many kids? Yes.
Like, okay, so what's the thesis? So if all the money in the world, money is not an issue, it's like it. I don't know, bro. Miss Jawaiji fantasize na 10 kids.
Right? Okay.
Unless when it starts.
Okay.
But Jawai, I've always thought maybe 5, nini. But that concept, a big family, I haven't yet. Jawai.
So fine. Are you gonna cap it at 2?
I don't know.
Okay, fine. Let me rephrase the question again. You're dodging my question, but let me rephrase.
I feel like this is a 2 people conversation.
Yeah.
It's
just 2. Assume these guys are not here.
Not even 2 people conversation. Like me and the wifey kind of conversation. No. Who agree?
Gentlemen, they are kicking me out of the bedroom. I was in there. I was spectating. Bad behavior, Joel. Get out.
Like me and someone else.
But I'm sure you guys, I mean, come on. Before you started the journey of getting babies, you already
we had before. Yes. I don't know, Santa to overshare, but
I hear you.
But before actually it was your journey, we thought would mazee tuko kwa hiyo journey many kids.
So the ideal before without sharing unnecessary, ideally what would have been a good number for you?
Ideal, we thought we'd go for like even 7+. You see,
for real?
Ilikuwa before we actually found out what it takes to be parents.
Okay.
No.
So with no complications. And a bit of resources flowing your way, what would be the ideal number? Because I'm not letting go on that question.
I keep telling, okay, let me go with 7. Because it's
under 10.
It's under 10 and it's slightly more than 5.
That's a big family.
It's a very big family. It's like a huge family, kabisa.
Yeah, I think most dads, even current modern dads, still struggle with the names of their children. So if you do that's a 7 aside. Hiyo ni team ya rugby, bro. Wanaenda kuturepresent huko nini Hong Kong.
Words out of my mouth. No, taking words out of my mouth.
For real?
Exactly the reason why naona maze mbona why are we building football teams? And it's already a struggle, man. Entire football teams. I don't know. So back to you. What do you think? This concept. Yeah, there's an older generation that wants their children to have more children, but then they never had more children.
So viewers, for context, I am an abundance mindset person.
Right.
All the traditions aside, modern nonsense, capitalism aside, everything else aside, I am an abundance mindset person. So, and my abundance is not just limited on resources alone. It spans
kwa mbegu.
Nina panda mbegu, my friend. It's a shame I'm just currently doing 3.
It's crazy.
It's a shame. It's a shame. I should be. I'm gonna get back in the factory, man.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
Yes.
Why do you think people should have more kids? Why you like maybe it's coming in debate? Less kids, more kids. Why you more kids?
I actually just think them gentlemen back in the day, our great grandfathers, probably our grandfathers, probably were spot on with this math. Have as many kids as possible. You know, I think modern medicine has chill out. So I want to think modern medicine has made people start to believe that they kind of are immortal or something. That if you have 4 kids, 5 kids, that they're all gonna see old age, and you're gonna die and leave them prospering to the whatever, man. And I just think that's actually probably not real. We still live in a world whereby anything can take you out. Probabilities too. So in a game of probability, you want to have as many kids as possible.
Right, that's such a weird
weird
take, man. Yeah,
it's not a weird take. It is what it is. So you see,
So like una hedge kind of your legacy on more children.
Yes, and continuity of your legacy. And what's the point, man? You see, if you're not putting in, what's the point of putting in the effort if at least 1 or 2 or 3 of your progeny are not gonna propagate it to the future?
Right,
what's the point? So and you can say, fine, I'll have 1.
Yeah.
I'll have 2.
Yeah.
And man, how many news clips have we seen where an entire family is taken out in a car accident?
Yeah.
You know,
okay, let's talk realistically, man. And I get the ideal.
That's not realistic.
No, but sasa wacha tukuje saa hii, unaona, tusiongee kuhusu abundant mindset, I'll take care of them. Let's talk now, right?
What about now that is different?
Right now,
hard economic times.
Yeah. I'm actually going for money. I'm just finding ways ya talk about the economic
freaking
situation. Work harder to take care of like 10 school fees, 10 birthdays.
Wasomeshe nyumbani, hata education yenyewe siku hizi ni mbaya. Wasomeshe mwenyewe, fungua naso hapo kwako. You just think abundance.
Because squeeze education is quite pricey, you can argue. Hata to nursery school fees ni
this sounds like another podcast episode or something. This will call me up on this whole education thing. I'm just telling you, you can, if school fees is an issue for you, you can train these kids in whatever discipline you want. You can teach them language, you can teach them skill.
So they don't go to school.
They don't have to go to school. Teach them sport. Take them to music school or something.
Take, man.
It is. You're being constrained in your imagination of how you can take care of a family. You can lease land and grow crop if you don't have land.
Okay.
There's the opportunities of taking care of your people. We just have a scarcity mindset.
Or we have, so what I hear you say is that most of us have kind of like to pigeonhole into the modern day living.
Yes.
That we think we need to live in a modern house that has maybe 4 bedrooms, and then
that's still good.
And then move our children to private schools, and then have birthday parties.
Fallacious, yes.
But then what you're saying is that maze unaweza enda ukabuy land, move off grid, ukadu homeschooling, which these are difficult things for someone to implement.
Are they?
They are, man. When you suggest those ideas, you assume that like these are tools someone can take. Imagine the kind of unlearning it requires for you to decide, okay, on my 5 children, I'm homeschooling them. Imagine the reaction you'll have on grandparents, on society. I don't know.
I know you'll face a lot of backlash, you'll face a lot of noise, but if you're pursuing a journey of abundance kama mimi, we panua akili yako, panua pasi yako, and just try get more from life, squeeze more from life. I cannot wait to be like a 70-something-year-old man. I know I asked for 70, but I still don't mind a bonus. I cannot be like a 79-year-old dude. I'm at an 80-year-old dude. Mzee, na niko na vitu kuu hapo bana. Watoto kama 70, you see those TikTok videos, ama nini, IG videos where they're like, this came from this.
Time off. I think you have an ideal, or you have an ideal that you're not living.
No, I am actually trying. I'll live it. I am gonna live it. Me nakuwa na watoto wengi, bro. And even more grandkids. And even more greater grandkids. When the entire generations comes together, we all came from this dude. And this dude is crazy, man. And we fucking love him. I'm pursuing that. That is an ideal that is in my head, and I'm pursuing it actively. Yes.
Watoi kibao.
Man, come on. My firstborn son is called Elon, and you know how Elon Musk is moving out there in the world. He's a 13 children. 12 kids, I think. One died or something, so probably 12 from 13 kids. So
I know the concept. Even when I talk to my pops about it, he says, unajua nini? Muslims actually know this secret, and that's how they're what do you call, they're taking over the world by having more descendants type thing.
Yes.
So unapata Muslim families hawana.
It's a numbers game.
Exactly.
Yes.
But sisi kama Christians na conservative people, we have actually bought into the whole thing, family planning, don't get more children, look for ABCD, while other people are growing because we may choose the other path. So he says, man, you guys just get more children. It's a hack. It's a hack for legacy. It's a hack for longevity. It's such a huge hack.
It's a hack for evolution even, man. Like just general life.
Yeah.
Longevity of life. Hakuna style ingine. There's no two ways about it. It's just the more you get, the more you're actually able to, the more you can actually survive the harsh times that are probably ahead.
So how do you convince, I don't know if we should put this on the pod, how do you talk to your ladies, your lady about, because
I like how you opened it, huh?
Nah.
Ladies first, not even ladies. That is the good Lord is guiding you on the way forward.
I love Jesus and my wife.
Crocs. Sorry. You abandoned the wild card here. So no. Look, I think these are some of the things you probably should talk to your person before you guys jifunika that duvet.
Yeah.
They should probably know where you're lying on this.
On the many kids thing.
On the many kids thing.
Interesting.
And should there be a health complication or something that prevents them from getting you more babies, they should just probably be liberal enough to allow you to go very traditional and talk to, was it Sarah? Pull a Sarah thing?
Bro, how is this one? How is this podcast a public podcast? So I don't absolutely agree. Yes.
Okay.
I know.
If you're modern and Christian like you,
yes,
you can just totally just adopt many kids because you have a lot of money. You know, there are options. Again, think abundance, man.
Right.
Think abundance.
So your children still lazima kwa your blood.
I would be good.
Yeah.
That would be really good. I would prefer it that way.
Yeah.
But if such an ideal is not coming forth, and the ask for having more people to carry your seed is being refuted, and the other voice is very strong, and you cannot overcome it the way I see you not overcoming it.
Like I said, I love Jesus and my wife.
So it's such a situation. It's such a situation.
And I'm also very kind of traditional or conservative in that sense.
That's not conservative. Oh, is it?
It is. It's very conservative.
Christian conservative.
Christian conservative.
Yes, because kuna traditional conservative, and that's like really far away from traditional conservative.
Yeah.
Because though me, I just swing them depending on what favors my argument.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, if you then maybe adoption is an option.
I think the mental hurdle could get through fast. Not even see at adoption. They just accepting that we could have more kids.
Why?
I feel like ni kama ni a gap in someone needs to jump kwanza.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah,
I agree. But again, as I said, it is one of those things that I think people should have a conversation over fast. It is very important. You cannot go kid 2 and then start dropping the bombshell of I want 15 kids. I'll be just now pulling nonsense on your lady, man.
So let me tell you our story. I know this might be oversharing. But
overshare away. Very good podcast material.
But when me and the wife Tuli, we started trying to get kids, we really struggled at first to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so it never worked at first.
Yeah.
So after that, there's an advice that we were given. I remember that advice kabisa. I'm in church actually.
Ngoje kuwe full moon.
No. No, it was very very philosophical and that mtoto Mungu anapeana watoto.
Okay, very nice.
So the concept was a lot of people get married ama wakianza kuishi pamoja, husband na wife.
Yeah.
They really try kupata watoi.
Yeah.
It's their thing, wanatafuta watoi. But then they wanted us to know that Mungu anapeana watoto. So this thing that you had, because me and the wife, man, bro, we had a timeline. What we did, we drew a whole thing. We drew like an entire timeline hivi tunahesabu naandika hapa 2020. Hapa size 9 months. Dash. Hapa ni 1 year. Another timeline. it was like that was our family plan. It's like we can when we get our kid hapa hivi nini that time I would have done, I would be like 31, you'd be what nini, by the time you turn 30 you've given me how many kids nini. We had a whole thing. So when we were given this advice, we dropped hizo thoughts, we dropped hizo ideas, and we just leaned back kwa kitu kingine yenye Mungu anapea na watoto. Mazee hiyo concept yao nataka watoto wa 6, you don't know man. You can't make it.
Yes, I agree. To that extent, I actually agree.
And so that's why I feel like niko kwa hii path, niko kwa tuseme kama ni bridge. Niko this side ya bridge bado.
So akikuja atakuja.
Type thing.
Okay. It's the best mental state to have. It's just that I'm not constrained by that type of thinking. I'll try to do whatever I can do to make it happen too. Like I try push things in motion. And if that's not forthcoming, because I actually want a lot of company somehow, just like not necessarily like I'll keep them in my boma when I'm like old or something, but the more they are, the chances are that watakuwa in my life.
Right.
Yes. And especially if I do good by their parents, which are like by my kids, and then now the grandkids can actually just like, I think that's like a good way to go out, man.
Right.
It's surrounded by family and a lot of people around.
You're actually right in that way. I think about that too. I think about is older old age. Will my kids will still want to hang out? I'm going to come and find their own life in Germany or whatever.
They can, but probably maybe the grandkids can come visit. Because you see, I've been robbed of that, and I just want to break that nonsense.
Do you want to talk about
that? I don't mind. But when I say robbed of that, I just mean to the extent that my grandparents, both of them, died pretty early.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't have that relationship. You know how if you want to understand your parents best, you hanging out with their parents, who are your grandparents. So I never really got that opportunity. I think the last one standing was my grandma, my father's mother. And she wasn't the most articulate person, but the little time I got with her, I would just like really make a lot of fun with her, you know, joke about this, joke about that, and she'll tell me legends about my dad, and I'll just find them really hilarious.
Right.
But I was not, by the time I was leaving for high school, I think I just thought I had more time with her. By the time I went to high school, Form 1 hivi, I can pass. I was like in 2002, I think. And so I never really got a chance to like ask my grandparents grown-up questions, you know, like what was it like then? How was my parent? How was they growing? How were they growing up? Questions like that.
I see.
So I would want to give my grandkids and even probably my greater grandkids a perspective of life.
Right.
Inject directly, you know. There's the things their parents would teach them, then I just like probably spoil them and just tell them a bunch of things that that cut the chest and tell them this is what it is from our time. And it will be good perspective for them. That's what I feel about the whole thing. So I'm really strong on this one, man. As many as possible.
Many kids think.
Yes.
Interesting.
If I don't, I probably just like take on more responsibility.
Right,
yes.
Which is something we've talked about privately, where that concept you're taking more responsibility as a hack for success and abundance.
Yes.
Cool.
It triggers your mind to think expansively. And the more you think of like cost cutting and you the more you don't open up your mind in terms of producing more.
I love it.
Tweet that.
Tweet that time lapses. Could have wisdom up a man. So for the gentlemen who are listening to, I don't know, man, I would love to have this conversation maybe at a comment section. What do you guys think about
many kids or
people having
less
many
kids?
Ama less kids. And why less kids? Kama ni watoto watatu mbona na kama watoto 10, what's stopping you apart from money?
Hata pesa isikue issue. Wewe pata watoto. Sauti Sol alisema kila mtoto anakuja na sahani yake. Wewe usikue na wasiwasi. Wewe zadlishana. Chapa kazi ya Mola.
I'm so intrigued. I would like to go up maybe in other comments, some other ideas that are from our directors.
Is it my turn to finish the third item?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so remember last week, not last week, the first episode, man, time is moving really quickly.
Yeah.
The first episode, we talked about the showdown between the USA and China. Yeah. So that conversation is still popping, man. And I'm really into geopolitics and global trade. Time lapses, meaning some serious, man.
International economics.
I don't know, man. Mi najionanga tu, yani nitafika tu huko kwa one way or the other. So I pay a lot of attention to these things. And I saw India threw a spanner in the works. By imposing, India is part of BRICS. Time lapses, if you don't know BRICS, small recap. BRICS is like a trade block, a trade block between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And it was set up in 2006, and then it was just BRIC. But South Africa was actually added in 2010.
Oh, fun fact. I'm sorry to cut you short. I learned that actually BRICS wasn't actually coined. It was, how academics write about a region and how some trade is happening.
Yes.
They used to write about the trade happening between the BRICS. And then these nations just, okay, you guys may form this word for us. This is who we are.
Yes. So they added South Africa in 2010. And SA was brought in because...
because of why? Not just why South Africa? Why is South Africa?
They needed a getaway, an entry into the African continent, and just this go to some big ass Asian club, Russia, China, India. So it was this to evil. They had to add some color into it.
You think they were that benevolent to side black people?
It's not benevolence,
right?
It's very tactical. Africa is one of the most emerging markets, kwa hiyo nini, kwa the entire world. Young population, labor. Resource rich, contributing almost 30% of the world minerals. Who did want to play with those?
And over a billion people.
Actually 1.45 thereabout. So human capital and actually a learned, an educated mass. Because now our literacy levels are really up and high. So I was just reading up. I was checking out that entire conversation and India, which is supposed to be in some sort of kumbaya with China, decided to throw a salvo by imposing a 12% tariff to China's steel products that are being imported into China. And China was like, God damn it. China has not publicly responded to that. It was imposed on April 21st and it's supposed to last for 200 days. And it's supposed to take care of protection. The official statement is that they are protecting the steel industry in India. But I was just even when I was having banter with ChatGPT about this, nowadays I do that.
Me too, man.
When I was just bantering with ChatGPT, I was come on, dude. You actually think so? That is the official statement? Give me the unofficial statement. Is Uncle Sam meddling somewhere in there? He was you might be onto something here. You might be onto something here. And truly, I actually think the USA is actually meddling, trying to weaken China by affecting its allies. It's just one of those spanner in the works that just complicates things. For China. And if someone else who is in alliance with China is kind of limping, or it's complicating the situation with China, it's very good for the USA.
Right, I can see that.
So you remember that conversation last time when I was telling you that I'm betting on China. So right now it's looking a bit tricky because now
chess moves.
The chess moves happening behind the scenes, man. The US is not playing, man. But me still, I'm still in support of China. I just hope that they try, even the whole ripping off of intellectual property, because I believe that's one of their biggest Achilles heel and why people are not even really supporting China per se. They just copy. And that's nasty business. Now right now maybe ya kutosha sasa China just now do legit stuff and pull some serious surprise cards on this US economy. I know it's big, whatever, but just come to Africa, let us do business, good legit business. Tuibie pia kama wale wazungu pia, unaona, let us just like do legit business. We can as an African continent just like create now, be open to other alliances.
Right. African.
I'm actually heavy on the whole African conversation. I wish. The reason that's why I was actually saving this for the last, so that we actually talk about the African continent just a little bit, and if we stand a chance in this entire big global, trading blocks where everyone is saying this is we have the biggest trading block, oh we are the most industrialized, oh we are the most we have the biggest military base, and Africa sitko tu.
Man, so should we segue into that conversation?
Yeah, we can totally segue, because I was just, it was so important. It was so important that whole conversation, and I was just like hoping to actually triggers us into having this whole conversation of Africa.
Because I'm also still curious about India. I'm very curious about India. I wanted to find out. Like what more things did you find out about India and about the steel thing? Like what wana manufacture vehicles ama nini?
I'm so curious. India is very robust, man. It's you will be surprised. I think we hear a lot of negative things about India and the general population, and how like they're straining, and some of them are actually going out there to get more greener pastures out there. But India is really it's a very robust economy.
It should be called top form.
Definitely. Yes, it is. So forget the negative press that India gets. India is really a robust economy, and not one of those players that cannot be ignored in terms of global trade.
And I saw Apple was trying to move some of their gigafactories to India.
Yes, there is that happening too. So it's so amazing that every other player, if some of the other countries out there are actually having really amazing conversations about we want these. Don't bring this to us. We'll take this. And our African countries are just like,
but
we are those guys in the WhatsApp group who don't have anything to talk about.
Hatuna unity. Africa is very divided, and I know now we open that Pandora's box of how we really feel about the continent. How it was split into so many small 50-something small parts, and we can't speak as one. And so it's a problem.
It's a really huge problem. Fun fact. Did you know that our entire GDP as an African continent is less than the economy of Germany?
Serious?
As a country.
Although I'm not shocked. No. It's sad kusema hivi, but I'm not shocked.
It is less than the GDP
of Germany.
Of Japan. Do you know what's the population of Japan? Around 100 million people.
I'm aware that Japan actually got top 4 biggest economies in the world.
One of the most industrialized countries in the world. Yes, I hear they have like an aging population problem thing, but bruh, these guys are a 10th of our numbers. They are way more industrialized. Their gross domestic product is way, almost twice the size of ours.
Right.
But it's a shame.
Africa as a continent. So
it begs the question, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do it for the conversation around Africa to change?
Man, so some of my thoughts about it is, may think Pan-Africanists are right in that sense.
Yes.
But then they are wrong.
Wrong in what sense? I'm curious to how wrong they are more than how right they are, because I know how right they are.
Right. I think they are wrong in the sense that you can't force this revolution into existence. We have to. It's kind of it's a mental change.
It's a mindset issue. Actually,
it's a mindset, exactly. It's a mindset issue. So hatuwezi tu tusema Gaddafi, Yoweri Museveni, whoever wants to be the leader of AU cannot just stand and give us like the new world, new Africa vision, and then it happens. It's kuna hiyo like how we were colonized, how we think, how they separated us.
For starters, we don't even have a similar language.
We don't have similar language.
But that has never stopped the Europeans from doing the business, man.
Africa. Do you know Africa? I was listening to PLO. PLO is one of my latest or my favorite Pan-Africanist thought leaders.
Yeah.
And how he talks about Africans, we should think of Africa as nations. So the Gikuyu nation, the Luo nation, the Igbo nation, the Zulu nation.
Or like the tribes should be thought of as nations.
Yes, as actual nations.
Yeah.
So when you start from there, tunaanza kupatia a validity, our culture of who we are.
Yes.
And then now it starts going upwards. Now this region. Because you see, all these regions were drawn by someone. Like during the Scramble for Africa.
Yeah.
Berlin Conference.
Yeah.
They drew a map.
In Germany.
Yeah, they decided this is, we call this Tanganyika. You go to Tanganyika, you take this, and then they say fighting for it. Now, as Africans, we don't own that vision at Kenya. We imagine how many times, even now we are adults. Tangu tukwe high school. We just know kuna like a tribalism problem in Kenya. Ni undertone tu fulani exist. And we know that it's almost impossible to deal na your problem. Because it's a mindset issue. We are not raising people kuambia manze, you are worth it, you are nini. I think that's where Pan-Africanists, maybe they just lose it.
I'm not sure. I need to know more about what PLO, the argument that is setting up for like the different tribes to be regarded as nations. I don't.
Kind of like we need to value Africans.
I understand the diversity argument. I'm not agreeing to splitting the tribes. I am for. I'm a big proponent of probably a unified language of sorts. Okay. Fine, we already. I believe if you check, probably English is the most spoken language across the African continent. Maybe probably followed by Swahili.
No, I think Arabic, then French, then Swahili.
No way.
We should Google it.
Yeah, probably check it. I don't think so. If you can check.
No, I don't think Nikona.
Let me see. Give it a sec. Let me just check
so
that.
You can Google top languages spoken in Africa.
Yes.
Because I think French and Arabic iko somewhere on top of Swahili. I'm not sure. I'm very curious kujua your answer. What's your guess? I'm right?
You wish. You wouldn't even guess. You wouldn't even believe it.
Hakuna Arabic hapo?
The most spoken languages in Africa. Oh, okay. Wait. You might actually be right. Because in no particular order, I thought like wamezeranga.
Okay.
So like this one says Swahili, but which is the top on the list. Arabic, English, French, and Hausa. So I wish it ranked them, but it has.
Can you ask it to rank it? Can you ask like the Gemini AI Google thing to hapo to search bar? Now that we have AI.
Yeah. Actually, it's Gemini answering me. Actually, now you're right. This actually the top 4 most spoken languages in Africa in terms of number of speakers are Arabic, English, French, and Swahili. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Arabic, English, French, Swahili. Arabic is a major language in North Africa, the Middle East, and most parts of the also on Horn of Africa.
In fact, not even Horn, kwanzia ukivi kwingine Mali, this other side of Africa, around the Sahara.
I'm disappointed that Swahili is actually number 4 over there, man. I would have...
the reason I know this, because I consider one time when I was still in uni, alafu nilikuwa very... you know that age.
The facts, yes.
Yeah, I wanted
you are facts buff.
Not just a facts buff, but I was very about Africa. If you go to my Tumblr, checking my posts, images of African tribes. When I just got the internet, that's what the things nilikuwa na research about. African tribes, African cultures. I really wanted to either be like a photographer when I shoot African tribes, ama like an anthropologist when I collect your cultures na vitu hizo. So I remember thinking, between French and Arabic, which one do I need to know come I want to thrive in Africa? And I actually remember Arabic should be something. One of those languages you can't go wrong around Africa with.
Okay.
But then, back to your idea, common language.
Yes, I was actually suggesting, I wished that if we had a common language, it will open communication lines. Like if we promoted at least a major language.
Jusa kuna Arabic Africa, Francophone Africa,
Yes. Swahili Africa. So that demarcates. But if we promoted, like, wanze to insist, like, one of the proponents, the architects of Pan-Africa should probably just, like, insist on a unified language. And then
which should be now Swahili, because
which is more African, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. More African than hizo
zingine. Yes. So if that happens, at least now we can communicate easily. If it's a syllabus across all the 54 African states, starting now, 20 years down the line, we are having a different conversation. Because now, if kids born today, they join school 20 years, 18, 16, 17, 8 years later, they're joining university, they're joining the workforce, and they speak Swahili, they speak the same language. That just sets us apart. That's number one. Number two, open the borders, man. Why do we still have borders?
Open the borders.
We don't have to open the politically. We just need to open them to trade. These small trade barriers that it's easy to take your product to Europe than it is to take it down to Mzanzi infuriates me so much. Why is it so hard to fly down to SA for a holiday than to go to Dubs?
You can go by far easier than you can go to...
It's freaking expensive to go to South Africa or even Algeria. Just intra-Africa movement. Let's open up the borders. Let us do business. If we do that, the intra-trader... In fact, I actually think the West is actually scared of us doing business by towards each other.
Me too. I think it's by design that...
Yeah.
They just like...
You just switched my side, because you've always been saying that it's...
Kind of.
I
evolve.
Okay.
Especially on this Pan-Africanism thing.
Yeah.
The reason why I evolve now, because this is not something in the past nilikuwa na think about actively until I started getting connected associated with thought leaders who were sparking my thoughts about that thing. So in the past, now that I have to clarify, I just used to think ni just by chance. Just random chance that Africa tuko penye tuko.
No. It's actually by some sort of weird design, man. Someone is actually profiting off our fragmented nature, our disunity, and is actually sponsoring the corruption that we are.
I think
not necessarily sponsoring, encouraging it. But as you aptly mentioned it earlier, that we need to actually go heavy on the mindset shift. And I believe the conversation needs to happen at all levels, and on all platforms across the continent.
Back to my old thinking. So niko kawe, but then now my old biases come up. Which my honor to how different we are. All different types of governments zenye ziko around Africa.
We are not trying to change anyone's politics.
Different types of local politics.
No. You do your little politics. It's no problem.
Types of currencies.
The currency thing can be a hot potato, but we can get to that. It will...
imagine all the debt and you're already associated to different countries. Like, it's just a big shackle on these countries to...
With a lot of intra-trade in between, there's so much business. It's easier to push. With open borders, it's easier to sell to Uganda than it is to sell to Germany or China. It's cheaper ata. So you make more profit.
What happens when Kenya in a thrive? Alafu ujiwa na feel...
Thrive how? When you're doing business,
whatever they can... We have opened.
Yes.
So ni kind of venye tulikuwa tunasema kitambo, when that before devolution Nairobi was growing but mashinani wasn't growing.
Yes.
So because all the kind of resources ziko centralized in Nairobi. So what might happen is that these developed countries, resources might centralize there because that's where economic activity is happening.
You've actually answered yourself.
You think?
Yes. Did Nairobi stop growing because devolution happened? In fact, I think it's doing a lot better.
But when it was the only country growing, mashinani wasn't growing.
Yes, because there was the politics around that time constrained growth in mashinani. But now when the politics was opened and we had the 2010 constitution and the new constitution was promulgated, it opened this region to business. The other regions, the neither regions, to business. And in essence, growing the economy even better.
Man, interesting. Very interesting,
So with the free trade areas, I actually think the synergies will abound. It's going to be better. We're going to do business. So now what this does, itabidi kila mtu ajikaza produce something in the most affordable ama the most most efficient way. You get
comparative advantage.
Yes,
There goes the international economics again.
Yes, yes, you have to actually go deeper on the comparative advantage of something that you produce in your country.
Right,
if you have the minerals that produces X product X,
Yeah.
and it's locally there, for me to actually import it and try producing it in my country gives me no comparative advantage.
Right, yeah.
So I might as well just buy the finished product from you.
Yeah.
And mi nikuuzie chenye niko nayo na produce vizuri. And I just think it becomes a lot more wholesome. I benefit off the distribution channels that you set up in my country, and you benefit off the distribution channels that I set up in your country.
Yeah, and then the minerals zenye zinakuwa mined, hizo factories zikuwe hapo za
zikuwe hapo. Si ati tunachukua minerals unaenda kuziprocessia sijui Shanghai.
China.
Bwana hapana bwana. Hiyo story inanikasirishanga sana.
You know, it's so crazy that minerals zinatoka in Congo.
Yeah.
They travel via road or rail until ifike kwa sea.
Don't even get me started on the Congo.
They go.
Yes.
And then they go to China. So we have a long way to go as Africa. And man, I hope that through these conversations, we can be part of the movement.
Yes, which definitely gonna be my passionate African spirit.
Yeah.
The Ubuntu spirit will keep shining in every conversation we're gonna have. Definitely, if there is an African spirit, the African spirit is gonna live through the time lapse,
right?
And it's gonna be celebrated. And I just hope that this conversation triggers other conversations elsewhere, and this conversation is had at different levels.
Right,
I was very enthused when Vuzi Tempakwaya. I'm realizing I'm mentioning him a lot.
Super fun.
I'm referencing Vuzi a lot. So I was very happy that he was in Kenya the other day, and he was on a Kenyan podcast, and he was asked, "What does it take for Kenya?" For not Kenya, for Africa to produce a unicorn. And he was like,
I watched that episode.
He was like, we don't need to be making unicorns.
Yeah, it's not an African concept.
It's not an African concept. And I was just like so blown away by that takeaway.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by it. That we should be focusing on other capital allocation problems, and not that type of that type of business, that a huge global conglomerate that does not really address the issues of the
problems,
African problems. I was really happy by that takeaway.
I remember nikisikiza him talking about, my mind immediately went to, we don't even have good roads for majority, even hata Tuka in Bungoma.
Umesikia tuko na 4 gigawatts of
of power.
Why can't we focus on renewable energy and just complement our constrained grid? It would be better that way.
Yeah. Or we just get we produce more in our agricultural output.
Yes. Kwanza hapo kwa agriculture, food sufficiency, man.
Food sufficiency.
Why are people sleeping hungry in such a beautiful climatic region, man?
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot we need to do as a continent. And I'm just like, you see, that conversation was happening at that level,
right?
Because Phil's podcast is a bit higher, kind of, and that triggered our conversation here. And I'm hoping these hours, whoever it gets to, it trigger another conversation elsewhere, and the ripple effect, like the butterfly effect, we can just like have this conversation. They're being already held. I hope onto a lot of African conversations on X, and I just hope that this actually just is propagated, or just kind of there's a domino effect of African African belief, African strength, that
African kind of consciousness,
that we can elevate it. And we can get like a better mindset,
but
improve.
Sometimes I feel lofty.
No, it is not.
But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. We already have these problems here.
It feels lofty,
right?
Because you're hungry right now. So you think that you need to feed yourself, but be a good stoic and don't think about yourself for a minute. Think about your great grandkids. That's why I'm booking space in my 70 years of existence, like 34 years, 36 years, 40 years from now. I'm booking space there that I can be there. And in that space, I want a really proud African.
Right.
Who probably is having a conversation about creating a unicorn, because we dealt with the most basic problems currently.
Right. Yeah, we sorted electricity.
We sorted food, we sorted transportation, industrialization, and people are going to South Africa for holidays and not Dubai in the desert. We are preferring to holiday internally. It's just like keeping our money circulating. It's not protection. It's just like we're just trying to make ourselves also have bargaining power when we go out there into the world.
Which goes back to Africa the only way African can participate in these conversations, we started from India, China.
Yes.
Is if we make this conscious choice to move as one.
Yes. We have to. We have to pick each other in a group. We are all running to China, and Chinese are like, come, come, we'll take your dollars, take all of them. And it's really absurd.
Yeah. One of the things before maybe to talk, I had thought there's a quote I want to tell you that Pan-Africanism without strategy is just vibes and Ankara. I wanted to say that. I thought, if I don't get your joke.
Yes.
Yeah, without strategy ni vibes tu na Ankara.
Thankfully hatuna kitu yote Ankara kwa hii set.
Makaftan tu na.
Thankfully hatuna kitu kama hiyo, and it does not have to be colorful. Huh?
Right, yeah.
It does not have to be colorful, but it's no accident that this is black and everything else on our set is kind of black or something. Yeah. It's like really trying to espouse the black of
Mama Africa.
The African spirit.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that, kabisa.
Yeah. So I think that would be like a healthy place to end our popping. What's nice. Popping? What's crack-a-lacking? Yeah. What's been good for you?
What have you not said? What do you think? You have not.
I don't think there is anything unsaid. If maybe not directly, but probably indirectly, it's been covered one way or the other. I think most of the things have been captured.
Yeah.
Maybe too, we were thinking on how we probably gonna appreciate people, our super fans. Well, as we go towards the end.
You were supposed to actually tell people if you watch till the end.
Oh yeah.
You know what you can do? You can actually say that right now. Alafu we'll cut it and put it in the beginning.
No, let someone get to the end.
You know for to tease. Remember, man, if you watch till the end, there's something for you.
Okay. Oh yeah. But what if niggas just nini? Unajua vile watu wanakuwa. Niggas wata scroll tu waende paka mwisho bana.
Okay.
You know, the other day when we cut a short and posted I posted on my socials, on our socials, I noticed that people were responding to it. And people who had already commented on YouTube and were like, that's a bold something to say, man. That's a really insightful something to say. And I was like...
Did you really get it?
No. You right now, this you should have said this when you saw it when you were watching. But kama haukuiona bana kwa when you were watching, so umeiona wakati tume-extract kwa short bana. But no beef. However way you consume our content, see to appreciate to bado
so much.
We really appreciate. So I was just thinking, we asked them a question. Someone commented actually. One of people direct message me a lot by the way about this. So I was actually just thinking, and he told me that Bride, I never knew that you were this is your profession. So I was actually thinking, we ask people that what I studied in campus. I was actually just thinking that whoever gets the question right of what I pursued in campus gets a free time lapse.
Nice. We're giving away merch.
Yes.
We got merchandise, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. To improve.
We have merchandise at the Time Lapse podcast. And if you get it right, you get a free mug. So go ahead in the comments. So the first person to comment on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube. It has to be YouTube, man.
The first person to comment on YouTube about what did Joel do in uni? Yes. What did he study in uni?
Yes.
If you get that right, you get yourself a free mug.
The course and what I actually majored in, because I apparently actually spoke about it at length, because this gentleman was extolling, like, I never knew you did this. You and I are like cosmates and shit.
Cosmates,
Yes.
Yeah, so if you get that right, free mug for you.
Yeah. Do you have any parting shot? Any fancy quotes about vibes and Ankara?
Vibes really
tuletea hapa bwana. Sisi tutaroka Ankara tu paka watu waelewe sisi ni wanoma.
But bila strategy, Pan-Africanism wena feel to vibes and Ankara. Just, you do know, it's a tangent.
Yeah.
But do you know Dr. Umar, this guy he really talks about Pan-Africanism from the American context.
This dude that Lynn Ngugi once hosted on her show.
I don't think Lynn Ngugi host Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar is he's called a hotep. He thinks Africa, we should go back to Africa. He has 2 wives. He says people should not have snow bunnies. Snow bunnies are like white girls.
Yeah.
It's kind of in a borderline racism.
Yeah.
but it's that about that Pan-Africanist life. And a lot of African people are Pan-Africanist who wanakuwa na hiyo vibe. So ikianza kuwasikiza una tune out immediately because
niko tu hapo tunao tu
uko na
siko mbali sana, but hauta tune away from me. You're stuck with me in this
Pan-Africanist people, man.
You're stuck with me in this because you see, if we actually manage to actually propagate a better Africa in ideology and in mindset, you're going to be the biggest beneficiary, you and your progeny. So whether you're tuning us out or whatever, Pan-African ideal tunajaribu ku put forward, where you're stuck with us, because we are the only people, the only people that we pushing a certain agenda or an ideal. Watu wengine wana push legs to wanna exist to hawajui that we can actually collapse these borders and make Africa something bigger than even wacha tu.
The last thing Kwanta could react to was, or I had hoped maybe one time, if we have time, we could do like a review of the podcast experience so far. And also as the director, I'm quite curious kujua where you are, what are your thoughts, what are some feedback from people that we can capture on camera, because I really had wanted to use this session, these break sessions, to capture kind of the energy and evolution, the podcast.
So
this is off.
Like the battery does not hold.
You didn't tell me,
So now, man, the feedback has been amazing, and the numbers are growing, and that's really lovely. Guys are subscribing, our views are increasing. That's really lovely. I'm down for it, man. If you guys are down, we are totally down. And now one of some gentleman who told me to get a plant. Mister, kuna plant hapo nyuma.
Right,
carpet bado. The first time hata tulikuwa tunatumia
plastic mugs,
disposables. Now we have merchandise. So we are making small progresses. As you guys throw feedback at us, some of you message me directly. We don't mind. Turusha pale YouTube. They'll be publicly there for everyone to know that these are it will go on record that when will you make your recommendation. So feel free to go on YouTube and tell us how we'd want us. And for me, man, this has been one hell of a journey. My confidence is actually growing with every episode, because the first one was butterflies, the second one was jibis, because man, they were both very different.
Bro energy sana bana, you need to listen. Acha kusema yes sana. I was like,
okay. Heavy feedback there. But I actually kind of feel that the people closest to you sometimes project. Not to underscore your wife's feedback, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes people close to you project on you. Like wanajiona badala ya kukuona. Sometimes huwa staki nasikizanga feedback ya the people closest to me sana with a pinch of salt. Yes. So I just like hammer it, like self-critique pia na wasikiza, then na balance it out, then it's all good, man.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So anyway, I don't think I have any other parting shot. It's just to tell guys to keep watching, keep sharing, subscribe please. We need those numbers, man. Yeah, we need those numbers so that if this community grows, we all grow.
Right.
Ama namna gani?
So if we get the personal mug, remember #TimeLapse. We are so passionate in building this community, and that's it.
So that said, until the next one, guys, ciao.